Before the founding of New France, before the fleur-de-lis waved over the forests of North America, there came a man chasing gold, glory, and God's dominion over unknown lands. His name, Jacques Cartier. This is the story of his voyage. This is Bon Histoire. The 16th century was an age of bold ambition. European empires, Spain, Portugal, England, were racing across the oceans in pursuit of wealth and empire. The tales of Marco Polo and the conquest of the Americas by Hernán Cortés had fired imaginations across Europe. France, too, yearned for its own stake in the New World. King Francis I of France, jealous of Spanish and Portuguese successes, sought a western passage to Asia, the fabled Northwest Passage. In 1534, he turned to a skilled navigator and experienced mariner from Saint-Malo, Jacques Cartier. On April 20th, 1534, Cartier set sail with 2 ships and 61 men. After weeks crossing the treacherous Atlantic, he reached Newfoundland, not a discovery, but a rediscovery, as English and Portuguese fishermen had already been exploiting its cod-rich waters for years. But Cartier pressed further. Sailing through the Gulf of St. Lawrence, he mapped parts of the Gaspé Peninsula. There, he encountered the St. Lawrence Iroquoians at Gaspé Bay. The meeting was tense. In a now infamous act, Cartier raised a 30-foot wooden cross claiming the land for France, much to the shock and confusion of the Iroquoian Chief Donnacona. Before returning to France, Cartier made a controversial decision. He abducted 2 of Donnacona's sons, Domagaya and Taignoagny, and brought them to France. They were not taken simply as trophies. Cartier saw them as translators, cultural intermediaries, and living proof to the king of what lay across the ocean. They would later play a pivotal role in Cartier's second expedition. Encouraged by Cartier's glowing reports, King Francis I authorized a second voyage. This time, Cartier took 3 ships, 110 men, and his 2 Iroquoian guides. With their help, Cartier made a historic inland journey up the mighty St. Lawrence River. Lawrence River, a waterway that would become the backbone of New France. He reached Stadacona, present-day Quebec City, and later journeyed further upriver to Hochelaga, today's Montreal. It was here, on October 3, 1535, that Cartier climbed a tall hill and named it Mont Royal. He was awestruck by the size and sophistication of the Iroquoian village below. But winter was cruel. Trapped by ice at Stadacona, Cartier's men endured months of bitter cold. Scurvy ravaged the crew. Over 25 men died. It was only thanks to an indigenous remedy, a tea brewed from cedar bark rich in vitamin C, that the survivors endured. This knowledge, offered by the very people Cartier had earlier deceived, saved French lives. But mistrust and fear were growing. Cartier suspected treachery from Donnacona's people. Before departing in spring, he kidnapped the chief himself and several others, bringing them to France. Donnacona would never return home. He died in France, and the St. Lawrence Iroquoians vanished from history shortly thereafter, likely victims of European diseases, warfare, or migration. Cartier's third and final voyage was his most ambitious. This time, France sought colonization. Cartier was to establish Charlesbourg-Royal near Stadacona, the first French attempt at settlement in North America. But the settlement failed. The colonists suffered hunger, Iroquoian hostility, and internal mutiny. Worse, Cartier had believed he discovered gold and diamonds, but upon return, they were revealed to be worthless iron, pyrite, and quartz. "Fool's gold," mocked the court. "Canada is a barren, cold land, full of trees, snow, and lies." Cartier's dreams were shattered. France would abandon colonization efforts for over 60 years, only returning under Samuel de Champlain in the early 1600s. Jacques Cartier never founded a colony. He brought no gold, no silver. But his voyages opened the St. Lawrence, the vital artery of future New France. He gave Canada its name from the Iroquoian word Kanata, meaning village or settlement. He mapped key waterways, planted the seeds of French presence, and set in motion centuries of colonization, conflict, and cultural transformation. But he also left a darker legacy: abductions, broken trust, and the foreshadowing of Indigenous displacement. The story of Jacques Cartier is not just the tale of a man. It is the opening act in the long, complex history of Canada, a land of many peoples, many truths, and many reckonings still to come. In the next episode, we explore Samuel de Champlain, father of New France. We follow the life and legacy of the man who succeeded where Cartier failed, laying the foundations of New France and shaping the destiny of a continent.